My name is Marietta Mahani, and this week's Aqua tip, we're using the dumbbells and we're going to perform a suspended kick to the front and to the side. So let's get started. So sitting down in the water, which can be done in any depth. So I'm in chest depth water, you can do this deep, you can do this shallow. And we're kicking to the front and out, front, side, front, wide, front, wide. Now I'm using my dumbbells underneath my hands. Of course, if you've got clients that have got any issues with injuries, this is always option one. You know, this is a way to support the body without actually having to use the upper body at all. But just assuming that your participants can do this, let's focus on what advantages you have. So we're going to kick to the front, kick out, front, wide, front, wide, front, wide. Now, I've got my fingers released on the dumbbell and I'm just kicking my feet to the front and kicking it out wide. Now I'm working hard to kick the leg forward and to pull the heels back. So I'm feeling this in my quadriceps and in my hamstrings. So it's a good lower body exercise. Now I'm pressing my arms down in the water, so my latissimus dorsi, my back muscles are feeling this. The muscles that pull the shoulders down, it's good. And now if I want to work a little bit harder, there is an option to use the arms. So I would call that option one. And then if people wanted to work harder, option two would be front, side, front, side. Now to stay on the spot, I actually have to lean forwards a little bit, which makes me engage my abdominals. My arms are working hard, and this is quite a cardiovascular exercise, so heart rate's lifting. And you'll notice that the dumbbell was submerged. It was below the surface of the water. So I'm not holding it up here, which will make it quite difficult for me to stay afloat. So the dumbbell is underneath the water. I'm pushing forwards and I'm pushing out in the same direction as my legs. Front, wide, front, wide, front, wide, front, wide. Whew. This is getting my heart rate up. Your clients will need to grip the dumbbell quite firmly, which is good because grip strength is a sign of frailty. So if you've got poor grip strength, it's a sign of frailty. So it's a sign of vitality. You'll be able to grip tightly, and it's something that your clients need to do more and more and more of. And you can do that quite effectively if you're holding onto the dumbbells and moving it to the side. Otherwise, if your arms are out to the side, you're just pressing down and activating through the lats, and you're still going to get some benefits there in regards to what your upper body is doing. Great little suspended exercise, can be done in shallow or deep, and that is this week's Aqua tip. Demonstrating the front and side kick in the water on land is actually a really easy exercise to do. All you need is a chair. Now what you will do is sit in the chair, and remember when I was talking about the arms going to the side, so asking people to have the arms out to the side, of course that was always an option, arms underneath, dumbbells underneath the armpits, but we're talking about people who can use their upper body. So arms out to the side, releasing the fingers and pressing the hands down and kicking the legs to the front and to the side. Now, what I do when I demonstrate this exercise is I ask people to lift their feet up off the bottom of the pool, but then I actually touch the floor. Now, the reason why I do that is if I lift my legs up and try and kick, I end up leaning backwards. And do you remember what I mentioned in the pool, that to stop yourself from going backwards, you actually need to lean forwards. You want to replicate the movement as close to possible as what they're doing in the pool. So, you know, rather than leaning back so that you can lift your legs up off the floor, allow your feet to touch the floor. It does make it a lot easier for you, and then you can show them the lean forwards with the torso to keep them from moving backwards. So arms out to the side, kicking to the front, kicking to the side, and your feet just touch the floor to demonstrate this. Now remember, you've got to teach them the emphasis of the kick. So you want to go kick forwards, kick out, kick forwards, kick out. Now my feet are lifting off the floor, but when they come back underneath me, they're touching the floor. So I'm having a brief rest as the feet come in, and that way I can go kick forwards and kick out, kick forwards, kick back. So you want to make sure you're kicking forwards and pulling the heels back. And just notice how I demonstrate that. So pull your heels back. You want to feel it in your thighs. You want to feel it in your hamstrings. And that's something that I also communicate to the participants so that they understand where they need to be feeling this exercise. Now you've got the dumbbells in your hands, and that becomes option 2, where they're now pressing the dumbbells underneath the water and pushing forwards and pushing out. And this is where it's good to get side on to clients and say, to stop you from moving backwards, lean forward slightly. So lean forwards into the movement. But make sure you still got that strong kick out and in action, and your dumbbells are underneath the water and matching your leg action. Wow, I just remember that this was such a challenging exercise to do in the water. Whereas when you teach it on land, in this situation, it isn't challenging at all, certainly not cardiovascularly challenging. And that's why it's so important that as an instructor, you revisit these exercises yourself in the water and get a really good idea about how it feels. You'll become a much better communicator to your participants. And you don't have to come up with all the new stuff. I'm happy to share with what I've got. But I always encourage instructors to get in the water yourself and don't spend too much time out of that environment, because you'll lose touch with what your participants are experiencing. And that is this week's Aqua Tip.